Hi everybody, welcome back. How are you doing? How is life? How was that moon at the weekend? It's Chrissy Sawyer here, and I'm a bit lost for words actually. It's all in the feeling today. And it feels like the most peaceful feeling is here. Like peacefully in love. It feels like that. Just bliss. So, yeah, here we are in November. What happened to October? I'm not quite done with October. It's got its passport and it's gone. So here we are in the fire of November and feeling very much like anything can happen. New beginnings, staying open, and also using temperance to balance where that staying openness is actually meeting with rigidity, fixedness, resistance, deservedness. And finding ways to be with that. I might go so far as to say it's actually difficult for us to expand without an inner conflict, to give us the contrast, to know what we're dealing with. So I'm seeing a lot of fire in the system, an awful lot of fire coming through. So we are kind of moving into hidden dragon energy and an extremely deep level of surrender as a choice to grow. And it's all a choice. It's all a choice. And I'm seeing passion waking up in my male and female clients. And it's coming through the sacral as sexual expression. And that expressed in a collective is something to be noticed. So we're moving into dragon territory, the energy of passionate change. And for every expansion, there's this kind of sacrifice that needs to happen, not in any biblical holy way, although the whole Jesus on the cross story is a fantastic metaphor for the giving of attachment, the giving over of attachment, in his case, the attachment to life. And so if we allow, because one of the things we're going to be deeply challenged on is, how do I receive love? Because love is knocking on the door loudly. There's some beautiful energy kicking around. And how do I receive love? Do I receive it with the mind? I'll come back to that in a minute. And do I think about it? And do I rationally evaluate it? Or do I meet it with the heart and a not knowingness and an innocenceness, and surrender to my egoic need to know, fix, solve, contain, shape, measure, control? And this also is in the system. This beautiful conflict is in the collective. And I'm witnessing it as thinking replacing loving, doing replacing being, when all that needs to happen is to die on the cross of your own belief, essentially, is to die to an old belief. So I'm going to move into 2 or 3 cards, and we're going to start with the 9 of air. And what I get from this card is, well, the 9 is giving me completion, and the card is, I'm actually seeing fire in this air card. And do you remember on the last video, I noticed that the cards were air and fire. And when I reflected on that video afterwards, I got the word incendiary. And we can take the word incendiary as a device to blow up, a device which explodes, or as a chemistry to burn away the old, to torch the old rotten forest and clear the ground and begin again, which is what we're doing. So this is where my attention is being drawn to is this. So for me, this represents the sword of truth, which is coming in through the crown chakra and the third eye. But if you look closely, it could almost be that it's binding her. You see, it's binding her wrists. And for me, this is showing me oh, right, okay. So if you notice this starburst in her throat chakra, so this is, this is like, well, the words I'm getting are, I can see it, but I don't believe it. It feels like that. And even though I'm holding that sword of truth, there's kind of pushing energy here that wants to expel it, to push it back out. So there's a softness that's needed here, because it's going to come straight into the inner conflict of receiving and being loved at a much deeper level, at a more, because there's a beautiful nakedness in the system. And that's really going to help us to move into that, because that's you know, when you're in that nakedness, you're coming from a really organic place where you really don't know what's going to happen, and where you have to trust yourself quite deeply that you're going to respond in a way that's coming from a place of wisdom. Okay, and this is coming in on a 10, which is a beginning. It's also, I mean, if you look at the 9 and the 10 together, wow, that's doing something weird to my throat. It's temperance, isn't it? It's what am I going to do with this? How am I going to use this? Is it some higher woo-woo stuff that I'm downloading and I can kind of see it and I can kind of write about it? How do I use it in the world? And that's going to hit another inner conflict, isn't it? Of how much nakedness we bring to the world. Of when we stand in front of another, are we still going to defer to our old language that keeps us safe? Or are we going to be vulnerable and kind of in a not knowingness and a curiosity? So again, the curiosity expands your energy field, essentially. Rigidness doesn't. It makes it fixed. It forces the hands together, and the hands just want to be soft and loving, because we're molding new clay. We're molding clay and what looks like fire in there. So learning to come from a place of wisdom, and wisdom is the application of what you learned in that thing. What did you learn Because if we're not learning, then we're staying in insanity, where we keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. So there's a guidance here to really push into the edges of your world, where it's tight, you know, where you get squashed before you burst it open. And this card actually brings me a certain dichotomy. There's a contradiction in this card. And I'll tell you why. So it's showing me the hero. I mean, what a splendid image. It's majestic. And there's a butt. And the butt is in that 12 energy. It's coming in on a 12. And the butt is in the 12 energy, which is kind of, it feels like government, structure. It almost feels a bit Capricornian. And again, there's discernment that's going to be needed here. Because the inner hidden dragon, remember we did, I want to say last year. I may be alone where I am, but I definitely feel like I'm in a new year. So I'm just going to speak into that. So last year when I was talking about Crouching Tiger, you know, that was the bulk of the lockdown and the go to your room and think about it, and the sitting in crouching position, stalking the prey. And the prey is, you know, everything that stops me giving and receiving love in equal measure, feeling valued in myself, being in love with myself, healing this, building the cathedral, rather than saving the world, because that can often be a distraction to not do our own work. So there's a certain amount of discernment for me needed with this hero card. And again, that's coming in with fire. Because, well, what is a hero? There's a question. What is a hero? I was remembering the other day a talk I once gave to an anxiety group. And I was introducing myself, and it was at a time where I was doing a lot of work with the military. And as soon as I brought the military into the field, a woman in the corner started to cry. And something was really triggering her. So I just paused the session and asked, you know, what did she need? And she managed to compose herself and said, I just feel so guilty. And I said, okay, you know, do you want to talk more into that? And she said, I feel so guilty because these men have given up their lives to protect us. And I went, we got to stop that. We've got to stop that. I haven't met a soldier that would thank me for calling him a hero yet. And I've met lots of soldiers. A soldier is professionally trained and takes the Queen's shilling. It's his job. He chose it. There is no conscription. So there is no enforced hero. They're bloody brave. There's no two ways about it. Crazy brave. Like balls out, gung ho, brave. Beyond a question, but hero? So is there room, I wonder, to rebirth the archetype of the hero? What do we believe a hero to be? I mentioned Jesus on the cross. Is that heroic? Is sacrifice heroic? And I'm asking questions here because I don't know. I'm just noticing that I'm not instantly going, wow, with this card. I'm questioning it. So here we have the discernment of wisdom. Ah, right. Wow. I'm going to figure out why I do this. I do this a lot. When I start getting messages, I do this a lot, and I can feel it in my solar plexus. So I'm doing something alchemical and I don't quite know what it is. I'm moving the energy down into the physical. Thank you. I'm moving the energy down into the physical. Oh wow, this is amazing. So my wrists aren't bound. I'm moving the energy down into the physical. Right. So what I'm getting is question everything. That's what I'm getting. Question everything, because at this time anything can happen. Anything can happen. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Oh my God. Okay, now I'm in the wow. I remember my numerology teacher once said to me, Chrissy, you must learn to drop the wow. I know, but I'm just 5 inside. I can't help it. So what I'm hearing is, Chrissy, why do you think you're studying common law? So I started studying common law in the context of civil law and royal admiralty law. Have a look. And have a look at maxima diminutia, minima diminutia. And if you're curious, search out a YouTube film called Kymatica. If I had a pen to hand, if I've got time, Kymatica. Search out a film called Kymatica. I'll drop a link in below. And have a look at that, because that just kind of lifts the veil on the illusion of freedom in society. So it's like what I'm seeing is there's a chance here actually to rebirth every archetype that we know about. And I remember saying a few videos ago, is there room to question the anthropomorphization of the cosmos, of how the cosmos has my back? Because that gives it an agenda, doesn't it? That gives me an expectation and it an agenda. And I don't remember ever setting up that contract. It's something that I've flown in on the back of without the true discernment of holding that sword of fire. And what's the truth? What does my wisdom tell me? What does my instinct tell me? What does my hidden dragon tell me? The inner fire breathing dragon. Well, it's all elements really, isn't it? But the dragon for me is the epitome of wisdom. Is that the first one? Okay. So that's the first archetype I'm being shown, is what is a hero? And I'm leaving that question open. What is a hero? So rebirthing every archetype and lifting the veil on confusing language. The one little piece that I learned that made my eyebrows raise was I watched a little video which a friend sent me, which was awesome, of a takeaway owner who was being harassed by police. And the takeaway owner had learned about common law, and the police were spouting civil law. And the two couldn't meet. And this guy was visited. Oh, sorry, the crux of it was the guy was refusing to wear a mask because he'd done all his scientific research, how effective the mask is, what the distance is, da 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 da. And he'd done that under the container of common law. And so the police harassed him and they came to his premises 6 times. And one of the things he said, when the police said, do you understand? Da 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 da, read him the riot act, do you understand? And he said, I do not understand. And what he was really saying was, I will not stand under your jurisdiction. You have no jurisdiction over me. Wow. So I've got Capricorn and Saturn kind of sitting here, and a kind of little sickness in my throat. It feels like a nervousness. Is that the truth we're going to be invited to speak? I do not sit under your jurisdiction, machine. Holy crap. Oh my God, wow. It's making me nervous. It's really making me nervous. So that's what that's meeting in me, is a nerve. It feels religious, actually. It feels like an old religious nervousness, that it's safer to hide at the back of the church than it is to stand at the altar and declare this farce. It's making me nervous. Oh, you buggers, that's making me nervous. Yes, okay. Oof, wow. Wow and wow. Oh, 2 5s. There's that card again. Right, I'm going to put these up together. I'm just pulling cards off the bottom of the deck. I don't know where they're going to go. So we've got 2 5s. Okay, we're moving into 5 energy. We're moving into 2021 energy already. Change. UK has just been put on lockdown. Has the date been confirmed? I don't know if the date's been confirmed. I believe it's this week anyway. Change. Look at that image. Wow, wow, and wow. Dominion, domain, power over, abuse of power. This one says fire again, water. Okay. So we can descend into worry. She looks quite worried. We can descend into worry, pull our energy down. Or we can move into wisdom. Access the hidden dragon and go, what does my gut tell me? What does my gut tell me? And there needs to be a move here. And it's a move into displeasing. I remember this year beginning to use the phrase willful disappointment, because that's what was being pulled into the system, was an opportunity to start dissolving the codependence, in relationships. My body's clearing. Codependence in relationships. And one of the surefire ways of doing that is to willfully disappoint another's expectations of you. And also remember, you set them up. This is how human beings have learned to manipulate what the system wants rather than come from the gut and it's out. And I'm not saying be harmful, be vicious, be vile. I'm saying tune in, especially in, there's a lot of fire in the energy. My throat is literally hot, it's burning. And with so much fire in the system, how are we going to use that? How are we going to use that? Okay, because it cannot be. It can, but you're just doing the same old thing and expecting a different outcome. 5 is an invitation to change how we use our fire. Very masculine card, that. Very, very masculine. I know I'm stating the obvious. Yeah, what am I missing? So there's something about their eye contact. And the guy ostensibly on the back foot has got good eye contact. And this one's got his mean face on. And I'm wondering if they both just dropped all the posturing and just looked each other in the eye. No words. And just looked at each other. What they might see. I wonder what they might see. This is fire out of control. Somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. And it doesn't have to be like that. When we move into curiosity and, you know, what am I going to learn here that I can apply in the world as wisdom? So yeah, we can sit and worry about all these changes, all of this 5 energy, and we can become combative with the changes and resistant to the changes because you have no dominion over me. Or we can die on the cross to what we perceive as a loss of control and be open to new hero, maybe a new hero that feels more innocent, doesn't need to make a big noise in the world. I don't know, I'm imprinting now, but I'll leave it to you, good folk. Let me know what you think. Is there room for a new hero archetype to be birthed here? Well, yeah, I'm getting one that includes the feminine, but I believe, well, yeah, okay. We're just going back and forth now, but see what you think. See what you think. Right, I think 2 videos ago this card came out. Oh God, it's just so beautiful. It's like, while she plays innocently. I also keep getting the word cornucopia. I'm getting it again and again and again and again, like the horn of plenty. And I see it again here, cornucopia. And cornucopia is, it feels like anything can happen, anything. So where you might be, where's that card gone, please? Thank you. Where you might be descending into worry and pulling the mind in and putting it in a container because your belief won't let you go outside of it. Just look at what has the potential to happen here. She's just playing innocently. And there's this great big light behind her. And I want to share with you that the last time I pulled this card out for you guys, the collective, abundance descended on me like rain. It was an amazing, last week was an amazing week as well. I'm just being showered with love and light and new opportunities and joy. And I went for a walk through the woods yesterday and my feet barely touched the ground. I just felt glorious, absolutely glorious. And feeling glorious is abundance. So if you assign that to a pound sign or a dollar sign, that's limited thinking. I remember once reading a sentence which said something like, if you own a freezer and there's food in it, you're one of the richest people in the world. Ooh, wow. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, this, I guess, is, what am I going to call this video? Hidden Dragon, the Hero Within, something like that. Yeah. So it's fire and higher mind. Higher mind, Uranus. And how to handle that. And are you going to bring that to the world? Because there's a big dare in there, isn't there? There's a big dare. I dared someone to be a hero. Right. So I wrote a blog post for Samhain and posted it, and somebody privately messaged me, sending me an image they did, which actually was quite similar to the one I painted. It was, I was writing about a soul journey I did back in January. And I just messaged her back and said, I dare you to share that on my timeline. And she did. There you go. Naked hero. That's it. That's it. And I'm not going to say her name, I'm just going to say Kay. It's you, and I'm going to name this video The Naked Hero after you. Oh. Beautiful. So, my beautiful souls, I am gone for today, and I will be back again soon. Take care, be love.